That's Young Chris. We got KG, Travis, Nicholas Koloff, a.k.a. Detroit Mario.
Let's go.
Guys, I meant to talk about this yesterday after Brad Holmes spoke. He had mentioned a couple of statements. One, being the lone wolf, and that he and Dan Campbell were that last year during the draft process when everybody wanted a particular player at a certain position, and Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell wanted somebody else. And then obviously ended up going at somebody else, and they said it worked. Not obviously, but they did take the other person, and it worked out. He didn't say a name, but I just like to speculate. I mean, who do you guys think that was?
Can you be a lone wolf, first of all, if Brad and Dan were on the player?
That's true.
Both of y'all can be lone wolves.
Yeah.
Or were they like set on two separate players, or was it the same player?
I may be mixing the statements together. The lone wolf one might have been by itself. Actually, I think the lone wolf stemmed from that conversation, I should say. But regardless, I guess I'm trying to wonder, like, what player do you think they went against the grain with, like, the scouting department on?
Okay.
Because he said it worked out, by the way.
Yeah.
I immediately thought Broderick because I was like, I hate that pick. But he didn't work out so far.
That's what I'm saying. But this is where, like, I really thought about this, and I'm like, okay, the easy answer would be Antoine Green and Sorsdale, guys that barely played or didn't play too well for the Lions last year. But he said it worked out.
Yes, exactly.
So I think what it is, think about it. We saw him ecstatic with Gibbs. He was super geeked about getting Gibbs. We all saw the video of that. He traded for Branch. He traded for Broderick. So I don't think it's either of them. So I think it's one of the whites. I think it's Jack Campbell or Sam Laporta. And I think it's Sam Laporta because here's why. I remember posing this last time when we were talking draft last year. And after we got the first two picks being offensive players, or two of the first three picks being offensive players, we all thought, hey, maybe there's a little part of this Ben Johnson coming back was that he understood he was getting some weapons. Not just the pay raise, but maybe some weapons with it. So was Sam Laporta like more of a Ben Johnson kind of pick? I mean, that's where my brain went. I think it's Sam Laporta.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good one. I mean, you also had Luke Musgrave. They ended up going that second round. Mm-hmm. You had Michael Mayer, which was like the odds overall favorite.
Ding,
I remember when Sam Laporta was drafted, everyone was like, "What? They didn't take Michael Mayer?" Which I will say, Michael Mayer did start like looking pretty good down the stretch of the season.
Yeah, but he ain't got no quarterback.
Drop, I win,
exactly.
you lose.
But even more hats off to him. I think it might be Laporta. There's also Gibbs, like you mentioned too.
That's why. No, but he was ecstatic.
No, that's why Brad was on his own with the Gibbs, and everybody in the room was pushing for Bijan.
That's true. Everybody else
they
was
were at
calm.
6. They could have done it.
And I'm not going to lie, fellas.
Yeah.
Both of those, that running back and the tight end, I thought Bijan was the pick, and I thought Michael Mayer was going to be the pick in the second round. I will take that one. I fell for like the draft critics, and I was like, okay, Brad definitely has his own board here.
Yeah.
KG, are you thinking the same?
Yeah, I originally thought it was Gibbs just because they did have 6. They could have took Bijan. That was like the obvious pick.
Yeah.
And then they went against the grain, and I mean, they took Gibbs instead. But it obviously could be Laporta though, because Michael Mayer was the best tight end on the board at the time.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, I got Broder in the chat. Shout out Broder saying Laporta. I mean, that's the guy that's plugged in.
I think it's Laporta, only because
I think it's Laporta.
When the Gibbs pick happened, there were still like GMs that came out later on, like, yeah, we were mad. We wanted to take
allegedly,
Gibbs. We like Gibbs.
Yeah, wasn't the rumor the Patriots?
That was never said with the Laporta pick. And nobody else came out and was like, oh, I wanted Laporta. Like that didn't happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And obviously you still had the whole situation with, I think it was who's the kid that ended up going to the Bills? Dalton Kincaid. Yeah, Kincaid. Like he went first round. It's got to be Laporta. Can't be Campbell because I can't say that it worked out yet. Although I believe it is. They will at least. Who do you think it is?
I think it's Laporta too.
Yeah.
Because I was in my car when we drafted Laporta and I was pissed because I wanted Mayer too.
I was because Nick, you got it on. You filmed it actually.
Yeah, we were in the just right next to us for
the Lions.
The second rounder, and then for the first one, I was right there for the Gibbs, and I was recording all the content. So.
I remember Spenny was pissed.
Yes, that draft party. Everyone was pretty livid for a hot beat, and then as it went on, you guys were like, "All right, let's chill out a bit."
I want to say, if you even go back and watch the video, I was just kind of straight faced because I just didn't know.
Yeah,
I'm just not going to question Brad at this point. The running back one,
Yeah,
that took a day.
That was out there.
That took a day. And I'm glad I wasn't live on air when it happened because I probably wouldn't have had good things to say.
The thing is, I liked Gibbs as a player, like at Alabama,
Yeah.
but Bijan was like, it seemed like the obvious pick. You know?
Yeah. And honestly, Bijan's still a dog. Like,
He
Bijan's
is.
still really good.
Yeah, he's a beast. I'm surprised nobody's really saying Campbell because I felt like Campbell was more criticized than Gibbs. I know Gibbs was drafted higher, but
Yeah.
Gibbs.
I
I
did
feel
not like
like
that
it
one
was
either.
more obvious that Gibbs was going to be a high level player or at least potentially a first round talent as opposed to Campbell, right?
The thing with Campbell, though, is like what disqualifies that as being the player is the it worked out part. I don't know if you can say that quite yet about Campbell.
I mean, almost
Well,
100 tackles rookie season.
Yeah.
And he didn't have a
and
bad rookie
Yeah.
year. Just compared to the rookies that we have up against him, it didn't look as good.
Also, his numbers look a lot better if
Yeah.
he's not playing right next to Alex Anzalone.
That's true.
Like, his
Yeah.
numbers would skyrocket. And we saw the one start he had against New Orleans. He balled out in that game.
Got a couple stars towards the end
I
of the
think it was
season.
2 or 3 TFLs in his first start.
And I don't think you could say that Campbell, and I know that you're not saying it didn't work out, but I don't think you could say that because Brad Holmes has been a guy that doesn't just look at production when it comes to these players. He looks at the overall impact, and I think we can all sit here and say that Campbell was impactful this season in a positive way. Now, was he a first-round player talent? Probably not. Can he still get there? Probably. You would like to assume so. You don't draft a player and think that their rookie year is their ceiling. But at the end of the day, this is a player that I think was productive, and I think Brad Holmes sees the vision for growth with him. So that's why I don't think it's him because Brad Holmes I don't think would call a player a bust year one or say it's not working out not working out year one. You know.
Yeah, the one thing for me is with linebacker and tight end, like those are positions that's going to take longer to adjust to at the NFL level. Unless in those two roles you have like a specific role that you just always do. Like Micah Parsons is different because he played the line too. But certain guys, like Edger Cooper, the way I was talking about him yesterday, is like if you put him at linebacker or Sam, like you're probably blitzing him 50-40% of the time when he's out there. He has that one like singular role where like Campbell is going to be tasked with doing it all. And so like that's going to take a year to like kind of develop that at the NFL level. I mean, the thing that every single player I feel like says at every single sport, the change from pro to college is the speed, the game speed. That's obviously something as a middle linebacker where you're kind of like the brains of the defense. Like, yeah, bro, it's going to take a minute to like digest. And they also put him out there at Sam, which he's never played before either. Yeah. But yeah, I guess yeah, you could make a point for Campbell with the end of the season tackles and whatnot.
Yeah.
But at the same point though, like your linebackers probably should have the most tackles, especially with the type of defense we ran against the run. We kind of just like sacrifice them to have a better run defense.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll be this year with DJ Reader though.
Yeah. This year's
It's gonna be
defense, man. I'm telling you that your theory about Aaron Glenn, I have always subscribed to. I believe it's correct that give this guy the tools that he needs to succeed, and he will succeed and put together a quality defense. But this year, man, I think he's got it right. Like he's got the tools. He's got all the capabilities in the world to be a top 15-ish defense.
And I think they're still going to add to it.
Yeah.
Like I'm fairly confident they will. Like on paper, here's the thing. Here's the dope part about it, and that's why I love having like certain guests on, like the guys from PFF or Matt Hamilton yesterday too. Although I don't think we had this conversation. No, we did talk about DJ Reader and Matt too. Yeah. But it's like we can say certain things about this team that are positive. And it could always be spun as, hey, you're a Lions fan. Like, of course you have some good things to say. Although I feel like I'm fairly critical when things are. That's why people hate me sometimes.
Yeah.
But when you hear outside guys that are also ball knowers, again, like Trevor Sikkema or Connor Rogers or whoever you may like subscribe to, and they mention, man, DJ Reader next to Lee McNeil. Oh, the coach from the All 22 films. Coach that we had on too. Like when you hear those guys reiterate those same statements, then you know it's real. And that's why you can start saying stuff I said too. Like now, AG has no excuse. He can cook up.
Yeah.
You could say it's just one or two players. It doesn't matter though, because like we know what that equates to in terms of like what their roles are.
And again, we keep having to hammer home the point, or I like to keep hammering home the point of the young team growing.
Yeah.
Like you don't think Hutch is at his ceiling now. You don't think Branch was at his ceiling last year. Kirby was at his ceiling. These are young guys that are going to grow and get better. So I think that between not only the additions but also internal growth, I think this is a team that can be a lot better defensively.
I agree.